Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode 44, I believe, of Warring to Attitude, because I didn't write it in the description for the show, so I'm not 100% sure. It could be 44, could be 45. I don't know. I'm your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, is a man who is from the future and lives across the ocean. He is a man who has never been signed to a contract under schoolboy terms at GRWrestling. Glenn, I got to ask you a question. You know any Geordies?
Any Geordies?
You know any Geordies?
Yes, I have known some, yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if you would know what I meant when I said the word. I just learned that word today, listening to Crime and Sports, a Geordie, and so I thought I'd use that on you.
A native of Newcastle.
That's ironic because of the Crime and Sports episode, which me and you and Dan discussed this in our chat, is about Paul. I'm not sure how to say his last name. Paul
Gascoigne.
Yeah, and one of his first clubs he signed was in Ipswich, which I thought was funny because that's where you live.
Yeah.
And then he actually signed in Newcastle. And so that's where the Geordies come from, huh?
Yeah.
They're a little bit harder to understand. They speak sort of a different dialect than you.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The country here, it's even more sort of dialect per region than it is in America. You all have slight differences.
Yeah, like a twang, yeah.
We go to utterly different languages.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell because, like, especially listening to, the Unbooking the Territory podcast, they have a lot of different British guests, and some of them some of them are easy on my ears, and some of them sound like they're chewing on gravel, and I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And I'm not throwing shade at anybody. I'm American, and sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I just don't understand like the turn of phrase. You know what I mean? Sometimes you say shit and I'm like, say that again, because I don't know what you just said.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if you're saying something that has a different meaning in your neck of the woods.
Right, exactly. I think we went into all that on the Brit quiz, I think.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
It's like over here, and probably over your way as well. There is a brand of adhesive tape called sellotape. Sellotape in Australia is a condom.
Oh,
it's a brand of condom.
They call it tape. Huh? That's interesting.
Yes. So
apply tape. You put apply tape on.
I think probably what it is it's made by the sellotape company.
Makes sense.
So it's the brand name.
I'm sure Johnson & Johnson makes Band-Aids and condoms here too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I still buy Band-Aids. I haven't bought condoms in a long time, so I don't know. I don't know.
That would be ironic though if they called condoms Johnsons.
You know what, Glenn? I did not make that correlation, but you are absolutely right. They do go hand in hand, don't they? That's something. So, there's not really. I guess we can't.
Yeah, we're not talking about football this week. That's why we've got into
God, no. Oh, God, no. I'd rather be thrown off a roof. I'd rather be thrown off the top of the Hell in a Cell by The Undertaker than have to talk about Arsenal's performance in the month of December.
Yes.
January now.
Yep. Not saying a word more.
Yes, and that's about it. Thank you. I watched Monday Night Raw last night, all 3 hours of it. Well, no, I didn't watch the main event because I fell asleep. But I watched almost all of Raw, which I haven't done in a long, long time. I thought it was fun. Good show. Did you happen to see it?
Yes. Yeah, I watched it this morning. I've given up trying to watch it now because it is too long, even for me at that time in the morning. So I tend to record it and watch it in the morning.
Glenn, forget about it. If I try to get up and watch Raw at what time does it start where you live? Midnight?
1 o'clock.
1 a.m. If I try to get up and watch Raw at 1 a.m., I guarantee you by the 15th minute of that shit, I'd be sleeping. So you're doing better than me. I really enjoyed the Drew McIntyre promo at the beginning. I thought his promo at the beginning was good. I thought when Punk came out, I thought that was pretty good too. I liked their back and forth. I thought it was really good stuff. Usually I'm bored to tears by the opening segments, no matter who it is. But I did enjoy that.
The R-Truth vignette was amazing.
R-Truth is a national treasure, and yes, that was
Yes.
spectacular.
I don't think he's just a national treasure. I think he's a world treasure.
Yeah, he is a global treasure. He's a universal treasure. Even even Martians like R-Truth.
Yeah. It's something else that was.
He's running through all the things. The Judgment Day in your house pay-per-view. That's the one that got me. I don't know why, but that one popped me real hard.
Tom and Nick Mysterio. I don't know who Nick is.
But I still love him. Yeah. I never met the guy, but I still love him. Oh yeah, that was really, really good. I'm gonna check out the main event later today because I did really want to see that.
It's worth watching. I'll tell you else that was worth watching was the women's tag match.
It was really good too. Yes, absolutely.
I am digging a big hole now. I'm burying the derogatory terms that we used to call. What is it?
Yes, Katana Chase.
Katana Chase and
Caden Carter.
Caden Carter. That's it. And what we used to call them is now in a big hole, and I'm filling it in.
Yeah, we won't call them that anymore. We're gonna leave that in the past.
Yeah,
I was actually watching that match and thinking, Glenn, we used to give those poor girls a lot of grief, but they've come a long way. That's for sure.
Well, if you think the first time we reviewed them, one of them sort of disappeared from the ring trying to do a cross press on somebody, and just missed her opponent and missed the ropes and went straight out the ring to where they are now.
Yeah, it was really good. And what I like too is as they're having that match, they show in the back, and we've got 4 different women's tag teams, and they actually feel like people who've actually been together for a while because Candice and Indy have been together for a while, except for Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. That's just thrown together, and they kind of put Naomi with. I mean, they kind of put Natalya with anybody, but I like the Natalya Tegan Knox sort of mesh that they have together, and I'm hoping that they actually keep some solid tag teams and they hopefully start actually building the divisions. It's nice to see that they actually have multiple teams is what I'm saying. Usually there's like one team and one team they threw together, but now at least we've got 4 different teams.
Yeah, and it's on a proper tag team that can defend the title.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so that was all good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Much of Raw. There wasn't really anything on there that I didn't like. I liked the Kofi Kingston. Is it still Marcel Bartel? Is it still his name?
Yeah.
I thought that was good. I liked what they did after the match. I liked even his promo after where he just said, he took out every one of my guys, so now I got to take him out. So a lot of good stuff happening on WWE at the moment.
Hopefully, this is now they're going to give him some time away and then have all 3 of New Day come back at some point, maybe WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, you always kind of keep your fingers crossed for the Big E, but I just don't know if he's ever gonna. But I mean, you could put Big E out there. He doesn't have to get involved in matches. He could just be like their valet or something.
Yeah,
not he's like a valet, but you know what I mean. He could be like their manager. It's just Big E is so talented that even if he can't wrestle again, there's no way they can't find something for him to do.
That's right. Well, I think he's doing like a global ambassador thing, isn't he, at the moment?
Right. I know a lot of people are hoping maybe he'll be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. I hope so too, but as long as he's healthy, I definitely don't want to see him hurt again. But yeah, I think that's all about the current wrestling that we got, unless you got anything else going.
No, that's it.
Well, it is time now, Glenn, to talk about WWF Ground Zero from September the 7th at the Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky. The Louisville Gardens, Glenn, is a multi-purpose 6,000-seat arena that opened in 1905, Glenn. That's fucking
an old building.
It was then called the Jefferson County Armory. You guys got any places that are like arenas that you call the Armory?
No.
Not so much anymore, but in the olden days, calling things the Armory was the thing to do in America. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's probably because they were.
That makes sense, yeah.
There's a lot of towns, especially like you had the war against us and then the Civil War, where a lot of towns would have had an armory within them because they had somewhere to store all the weapons and stuff.
That makes sense. This arena was used by Ohio Valley Wrestling when it was like a WWE developmental territory, but then the promotion relocated to the Davis Arena, which is named after Danny Davis, not the wrestler Danny Davis, but the wrestler Danny Davis. In 2002, the arena held 2 WWF pay-per-views. This one, and in 1996, they held WWF Rage in the Cage. Glenn, do you remember anything from the WWF In Your House pay-per-view in 1996, Rage in the Cage?
I don't. I vaguely remember it, but I don't know anything. Can't remember anything from it.
So this was the pay-per-view where the Undertaker did the infamous where it was Bret Hart versus Diesel in the cage match, and the Undertaker came up through the ring and pulled Diesel into the hole.
That was the one.
That was the one. Yeah. This was the last wrestling show to take place at the Armory. Was a TNA house show held on April the 20th in 2007. And listen to the main events for the show. The co-main event was Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. 2 guys are still competing at a very high level today. Yeah. And Christian Cage versus Kurt Angle. That was a hell of a match.
Only one of those 4 aren't still wrestling.
Only one, and 2 of those 4 are currently holding championships. So, one a world champion. So that's amazing. That's amazing. So, we said we'd start looking at ratings and such here. And since we can't really look at ratings for the show, we'll look at buy rates. This is the first, they've converted the pay-per-views from 2-hour in-your-house exclusive pay-per-views to where now they're going to be 3-hour pay-per-views. And so whereas they used to be $19.95, so Canadian Stampede, which wasn't in your house, was $19.95, and it was 2 hours. Now that it's going to be 3 hours, they've increased it to $29.95. So, in retrospective, the Canadian Stampede pay-per-view did a 0.59 buy rate. SummerSlam did a 0.80, and this one did a very lackluster 0.45. So not very good on the buy rate. As opposed to WCW, which in the month of September ran Fall Brawl 1997, it got a 0.53 buy rate. So not a ton better than what WWF did, but still some pretty low buy rates.
Yeah, I have got the attendance here. It's 4,963 in attendance of the show.
Well, there you go. I mean, I think the Raw before this had twice that amount, didn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You can see why the Louisville Gardens didn't get a whole lot of pay-per-views after this. The show opens with the video that you probably saw or heard at the opening of the show, which I will play. Glenn didn't see it, but he's seen it before. They run down the entire feud of Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. I found it funny that they didn't say a word about Bret Hart in this thing.
Well, we'll talk about him when we get there.
Yeah.
There was some strange shit went on in that match.
Yeah.
And not just in the match, in the commentary as well.
And the crowd, too. The crowd was weird in that match.
Yeah, they were swinging all over the place.
And so they let us know the first match of the night will be Brian Pillman taking on Goldust. And let's look at a little video package of what's going on between these two.
He was once one of the most respected superstars in World Wrestling Federation history. The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels. But Shawn's disastrous mistake at SummerSlam changed everything. Good God! Good God! I can't believe this. A phenomenal champion was robbed. The finger of blame pointed squarely at Shawn. If a true test of a man's soul comes in times of adversity, what can be said of Michaels?
Either you're with me or you're against me. Take your pick. Shawn Michaels, you're going to have to look me in the eyes, and you're going to have to pay for your crimes.
Tonight, one of the most volatile conflicts in WWF history is set to explode. The first time ever, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels will face each other one-on-one. And you're standing on ground zero. Stridex presents WWF Ground Zero in your house.
Let you in on a little secret. There's always a big part of me around you all the time because you know your little daughter, Dakota, she's mine.
She's my love child. She's mine. It was so good.
Goldust thought the feud was over. For Dustin Runnels, it's no longer about sport. Pillman's challenge and Marlena's acceptance literally threatens everything he lives for.
The hell with that. I mean, this is my life. This is my wife. I love her to death, and that's not gonna ever change. That's not gonna stop.
In the deranged world of Brian Pillman, the stakes are just as high. If Pillman is victorious at Ground Zero, can one imagine the horror that will develop over 30 days? The innocence of a marriage lost, a mother and child separated, and the deranged antics of a madman about to spin wildly out of control.
So there you have it. So if Pillman loses, he's gone from the WWF forever. But if he wins, he gets Marlena for 30 days. Yeah. I explained this storyline to my wife before earlier this week, and she thought that was very fucking insane that they would do something like that.
It's basically indecent proposal.
I never saw that. Never saw that flick.
No, you not missed anything.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go back and watch it, that's for sure. Luckily for Pillman, it's not a Monday Night Raw, so he does not have to wear a dress.
Made a change.
I saw somebody in the crowd that had a sign that said 30 long days on Pillman's trophy shelf, which I thought was something. Did you see that sign, Glenn?
Yes, yeah.
So I thought this was a pretty physical match. I mean, it should be. A guy's wife's on the line, for crying out loud. A guy's wife and the guy's.
Yeah, you can understand Goldust wanted to kill him.
Yes, as I said, you can tell. This is one of the reasons why you can tell these storylines aren't real, because Goldust would have got a gun and shot Brian.
Yeah.
What do you think about the match? The only problems I had with it was on commentary. Like King was doing like some slut shaming on Marlena, and I wasn't really comfortable with that. That was not something you could do nowadays.
That's what I say. People go on about how JR and the King are the best commentary duo of all time, but it is that sort of thing of looking at remembering things how you want to remember them. As sort of young teen adolescent, where you find a lot different things funny than you do as an adult. Yes. And misremembering some of the things he said.
Yeah, people like to look at things with rose-colored glasses, which Jimmy King Lawler said things on a weekly basis that would get him canceled in a minute today.
Yeah.
And I believe he's been canceled a couple of times for things he said current day. So,
yes.
And the funny thing is, it's not anything he hasn't been saying for 20 years. It offends people. It's like, well, he's been telling that joke for 20 years, so you should have been offended in 1990.
Unfortunately, with knowing on hindsight, I spent a lot of watching this match thinking it's sad that this is going to be Brian Pillman's last appearance on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and really like the next 3 weeks leading up until the next pay-per-view, it's all going to be about this. And I'm sure all of it's going to be cringe as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're not going to enjoy any of it. We're not going to think any of it's funny.
No, and then he's dead.
Yeah, and then he's gone, unfortunately. Brian Pillman didn't even scratch the surface of what he could have ever done in wrestling, and certainly not in WWE.
That's right.
So yeah, that's unfortunate. But I mean, when we go through the rest of this pay-per-view, none of the matches really are good except for another one. And this is really the only other match that I thought was good because it had a story behind it, and so I had something to build. If you can just look past the terribleness of the stipulations of the match, it was a decent wrestling match.
Yeah. Just gonna sort of mark it out of 5. It was a good solid 2.5, 2 3/4 out of 5.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like over the moon, anything that you're gonna go crazy over, but it was a solid wrestling match.
Yeah.
So eventually it gets down to the end. Pillman gets a loaded purse that Marlena has from Marlena, hits Goldust with it, pins him, and then it gets really uncomfortable because he like grabs Marlena, basically drags her backstage, throws her into a car, and speeds away with her. As Justin's chasing them down the street, and then they show him like crying in the back, and he's freaking out, and and then Jerry Lawler gets a hold of the purse, and he opens it up, and there's a brick inside.
Brick inside, of course there is.
Yeah, so that's kind of how that goes down, and Jerry the King Lawler is going to keep making several insensitive remarks about what Brian Pillman and Marlena might be up to after they leave the arena. Even Vince at one point begs him to stop doing it.
Yeah.
And so was I.
Yeah.
And then the next match, it is a match we've seen what I thought was at least 20 times, Glenn, but I checked Cage match, and apparently they only wrestled 3 times in 1997, but it felt like 20. It's Scott Putski and Brian Christopher.
They're trying to create a light heavyweight decision without any light heavyweights.
Yeah, this is the most light heavyweight they could get. Where was Takamichi Noku? I need Takamichi Noku back, please.
Yes, yeah. He's probably...
Go ahead and tell me about this one, Glenn, because it was wow.
Christopher seems to be over, and there's no reason to know why.
I think it might be because they're in Kentucky.
Yeah,
and that's kind of their area. So
yeah, it was just apart from the Lawless Jerry's kid chants, the crowd weren't really into it.
Yeah. And all they did on the announcing was, argue back and forth about how Brian Christopher is Jerry Lawler's son. No, he's not. He actually never says he isn't his son. He just won't say that he is. And then it's funny. He's like, look at his face and look at my face. Do we have the same face? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll absolutely have the same face. And I'm sure that's why they did it, which made it even funnier.
Yeah.
But eventually, Scott Putski, I'm pretty sure he fucking dislocated his kneecap.
Oh yeah, and they made a big point of showing it.
Glenn, so I have this weird phobia, right, where I don't like anybody to touch my kneecaps or put their hand at all. Because when I was younger, I was watching a basketball game and I saw a guy dislocate his kneecap, and I saw that shit in a place that it shouldn't have been. And so ever since then, I have had a phobia about my knees. And this match did nothing to help me. I literally wanted to throw my TV out the window. I was like, stop showing it. I don't want to see it anymore. Just quit, please.
You're going to have fun when Sid does his stuff then, aren't you?
Oh, God, no. God damn it. I will. Ugh.
That makes me cringe.
God. Whenever, somebody, breaks their leg like that on football, Rachel likes to look at shit like that, and I hate it. And so I'll be like, well, this happened. And she's like, look at the clip. And I'm like, no, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it.
I can't either. I'm very squeamish like that as well.
No, I don't want to do that.
Anyway, yep.
So BC wins by count out. Jerry Lawler looked like he was going to run down Scott Putski, but then once he realized where Scott Putski's kneecap was at, he's like, nah, I'm not going to do
that. Yeah. I think he thought that it was a work, and then realized when he saw the angle of his knee that it was a shoot injury.
Yeah, because he walks over there and he's going to say something. He looks and he's like, "Oh yeah, that looks like it does hurt." And then he walks in and he's like, "I won't fuck with it."
No, not to hear that.
And then we go from one exciting match to another, Glenn. And I'm just going to let these guys tell you all how exciting this match was.
Every time I turn around, you're telling me how to conduct my interview and where to do them and how you want them done. If you want them done, you ask me where I want them done at. We are not about this clean, serene environment. This is Beverly Hills. This is Hollywood. We're not about that. We're about the street. And tonight is a street war. And we're going to show you just exactly how that's done. Tonight, I'm going to take Savio Vega and Crush out. How are we going to do it, guys?
By any means necessary.
Get out. Get out.
My sweat, my blood, and my tears. Esta noche, vengan bien preparados, porque Savio Vega está preparado para cualquier cosa. Crossy Farouk, ustedes la van a pagar. ¡Boricua!
Listen here, Farouk, Savio Vega. As far as I'm concerned, this is not a triple threat match. This is a double promise from me to you. I'm going to beat the hell out of you punks, And then I'm going to run this fight straight up to her.
Wow.
Hmm.
Straight up the ass, he said.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard that part.
They said straight up, run.
Yeah, you're right. You didn't say it. So first triple threat match in pay-per-view history for the World Wrestling Federation.
Before we get into
Oh,
this,
sorry.
there is a bit that I found on one of the old reviews that they've obviously removed from Peacock and the network. Because there's a bit before that, so as they're taking Putski back out, it cuts to Sunny, and she said that Brian Pillman called her on his cell phone, and she's heard lots of things taking place in their car. So if you want to find out what's going on, call the Superstar Hotline tonight at 1-900-737 for
WWF.
But they obviously taken that out now because we didn't get that.
And I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did. That's great. Hey, this guy just won this other guy's wife, and now he's probably sexually harassing her in her car. But if you want to find out all about it, call our hotline.
Hurry up!
What the is that? God damn. God. Yeah, man.
Make sure you get your parents' permission to do it first.
Good Lord, that is something. The thing I hated most about that, Glenn, is I remembered the WWF hotline number. That's what I hated the most about that. If you started saying it, I was like, yep.
Yeah.
We're WWF. I fucking know it. God damn it. So yeah, first triple threat match in pay-per-view history for WWF, and only the second one ever. And you can tell because they explain the rules to us. They put the rules up on the screen, and now they just tell you a million times all the matches going on. About how anybody can be pinned at any time, and the champion doesn't have to be involved in the pinfall to lose the championship and all that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say this was the worst triple threat match I've ever seen, but only because I haven't seen all the triple threat matches, because this one sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't good, was it?
No. It was a lot of one guy standing around not sure what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they were staying. It was as though all they'd done in the past is had the multi-man brawls. And nobody had actually said that they were going to have to wrestle at some point, so nobody knew what they were doing.
Yeah, it was. Well, at least they took the most experienced guy in each group, I would think, because Crush and Savio. But still, there was nothing that they were going to be able to do out there that was going to make this work. I mean, these aren't three guys that you'd want to set up in a triple threat match against each other. I mean, they're two slow and prodding guys, and Savio's not exactly a high flyer, so. It didn't mesh well.
Yeah. You can't really rate this apart from just saying that they did the best they can with what they had.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair to say. One thing I thought was funny when Crush was driving out, Vince is going on and on about the Titan motorcycles again, but you can clearly see on Crush's motorcycle that it says Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson, yeah.
So that's not a thing, dumbass. Yeah, I don't know. Savio ends up winning in a match that I would never suggest that you watch unless you're trying to fall asleep. That's all I can do for you. They also showed a couple ads for that Stone Cold Says So VHS tape, and I still want to buy it because it looks awesome.
I was going to say that the next bit of shilling actually was worth doing because it's for the Stone Cold tape.
Yeah, that's something I would buy. And the next match, Glenn, it's a special treat. It's one of our favorite things ever when we watch these shows. It's a mini match. And whenever we have a mini match, we got to get with the mayor of Canton to watch it. And so now we're going to throw it to the watch along match of Max Mini, a.k.a. Masagrita Sangrata Jr., taking on El Torito, a.k.a. Mini Vader. So let's have a look at it now. Okay, everyone, we've got it pulled up on the screen now. The mayor's joined us. Mayor, how you doing?
Oh, man, I am doing fantastic. This is what I look forward to all week, is getting on here and getting to watch just a little bit of wrestling and have a little bit of relief in my life. And, yeah, this is going to be some good stuff from the spoiler that I've already gotten. Just a wee spoiler.
Just a tiny little spoiler. So we don't usually do watch-alongs on this show, but every time we see that there is a little short match that we need to get the mayor on here to watch, we always get on here to do it. So here we go. Let's check out this little match from In Your House Ground Zero. Here we go. At the Louisville
7th.
Gardens. Mayor, you ever been to the Louisville Gardens?
I've been through Louisville. I've probably driven by them several times.
Well, I gave you a lot of information about it at the beginning of the show, I'm sure. So go back and listen, and you'll know all about the Louisville Gardens. Here we go. You remember this guy? He was Mini Vader last time we saw him.
Yes.
That's not Ant-Man?
It is Ant-Man, ironically. That's his new gimmick, is Ant-Man.
He hasn't grown yet. He's still just miniature Ant-Man. It's Paul Rudd, right?
Yeah, that is Paul Rudd, yeah. I like Ant-Man, too. That's a good movie, by the way. Good movies.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the last Ant-Man, not so great. Oh, look at this.
Whoa, very high action here. Wow.
Good.
Glenn, do you remember this guy's name? I don't remember his name.
El Torito, isn't it?
El Torito, that's it. He's the original El Torito. I guess the other El Torito was the son.
Yeah.
He was just a calf at this point. They don't call bulls calves, do they? Never mind. I take it back.
Was his rival Tito Santana?
Absolutely it was. Like,
Arriba.
Here comes Rassagria Sangrada Jr., a.k.a. now known as Max Mini, because as Glenn said before we got out on the air here, it's easier for Vince to say.
I can't believe how well his name just rolled off your tongue. I have no idea what you just said, but you could have spoken fluent Spanish there. Masa Sarita, Masa Bara.
Sangrada Jr.
Go!
Don't make me do it more than once, because I don't think I have it in me. HBK sucks. Wow, that's an aggressive sign. That is aggressive. All right, here we go. It's time. He's dressed like a bull, so that's fun.
How does he see out of there?
I mean, how does anybody see out of any of this?
Whoa!
Oh, God.
I've never seen a full-grown wrestler do any of this.
No, absolutely not. Well,
Whoa.
That's more like it.
He threw a good punch.
I mean, as far as minis go, this El Torito's like fucking Brock Lesnar. I mean, fucking look at him.
Yeah, he is about 125 and about 4'7". So, oh my goodness.
I don't know. I venture to think that me and that little guy might weigh the same. To be honest with you.
Oh, he almost didn't make it. Wow.
Well, he was almost a little short, but he made it by just an inch. You know what I mean? If you're watching along with us, take a drink every time I make a short joke.
Man, he almost jumped right over his head like everything else.
Yeah, like everything else in the world is always going over his head. Wow. Oh, look at that.
Do you think these guys could go to an amusement park and get on any of the rides?
No. Maybe the bumper cars. If somebody else drove. They could sit on the side. They couldn't drive.
It's like the Little Rascals episode where they're on each other's shoulders in the trench coat to get to the movie theater.
And how, yeah. Oh my God!
Who's the referee?
I think it's Jack Doan, isn't it? Of course, I would know the names of the referees. I believe his name's Jack Doan.
Oh, okay. He's not a very big man either. He's about the size of El Torito here.
Well, they were probably like, "Who's the shortest referee we got? Send him out there."
Yeah.
Hey, that way he doesn't look tall in there. We don't want. God damn it, pal! We don't want the referees looking tall. You kidding me? God damn it!
Oh. Some really good action here, though.
Little arm drag.
Yes.
Little bitty arm drag, if you know what I mean, pal. Oh, there's a guy in the front row with a Green Bay Packers jersey on, and fuck that guy.
In Louisville, that makes no sense.
They're everywhere, Mayor. The Green Bay Packers have infiltrated everywhere.
He's really working that arm.
He really is.
Oh, there we go. Now another.
He's like Keith Cole. Clearly, he was trained by Keith Cole.
Oh,
did he just bite his butt?
Bit his butt. Oh.
Hold on, let's rewind here. We just got a butt bite. Usually, you got a. Oh, of course. So now
he is wearing gold, so it's very Goldustish.
I was just. It's amazing. I was just thinking that this was the. Oh.
Hold on. Hold that thought. There we go. I think this is where he does it. Oh, he did.
He is biting his butt.
And that wasn't like a subtle bite. He really worked on it.
No, it looked
tricked him everything.
It looked like he was going to put him in an abdominal stretch, and then he bit his butt.
He's
Oh no, here we go.
He's going to spank him. He's going to give him a little whooping. Go to your room, young man. I'm 43.
That was my favorite thing ever. Now what are we doing? Oh boy. Oh,
Well, look how big it is on his head.
that's what she said. Oh, it's great. Don't
Hit him, Jerry. Hit him.
Don't hit
Unless
him.
he's
little.
12.
You can't do that.
Unless he's 12. Oh, that's not the first 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Never mind. We're not going to go there.
He's definitely not 12.
He's 38 years old. This is a contender for 2024 match of the year. We're only 5 days in. Somebody write that down to remind me because I won't remember.
Torito versus Zap. What was this guy's name?
It's El Torito. El Torito and Maximum.
Oh my God. That was the biggest boot, the littlest, biggest boot I've ever seen.
It was a tiny little big boot is exactly what it was. Oh my goodness. Joe the King Law's on his side. He likes it. Okay, here we go.
I think he actually knocked him out cold.
Well, no. Oh!
He has now.
Well, you're right. Now, if you didn't knock him out cold, he broke. Oh, no. Now he's losing it. He's a bull.
The weird thing is the crowd is not into this at all.
Now he's really in trouble. How could you not be into this? This is the greatest match of all time. These damn rednecks in Kentucky, they don't know any better.
Nah, they don't know. I don't know what they're missing out on.
I'm just kidding. I live in Nebraska.
Sorry, Jim Cornette.
I live in Nebraska. I have no reason to call anybody else a redneck. Oh, here we go. We got a little test of strength. Oh no, we got a little deceit though. Oh,
Wow.
Look at this. Holy Toledo. I mean, holy El Torito. He flipped it upside down. There we go.
Wow. That was
Very little excitement from the crowd, if you know what I mean. Very
yeah,
little
just a
excitement.
small bit.
There's more excitement from here than there is from the crowd.
Yeah.
What a power bomb.
If it would have just been us three in the crowd, it would have got more crowd reaction than this is getting right now. Oh, here we go. I wonder what was made of it. You know what? Let's do a minis match tonight in Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, and this was the years Cornette would have been there, right?
Yes, I think Cornette and Russo are booking together at this point, so that does make sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Corny was like, "But we'll have one of them come out of a box, and then it'll be over, motherfucker. If you come out of a box, especially in Kentucky, you're over."
He was just so happy he only had to drive like 8 miles to get to the arena, I'm sure, instead of
Because
getting
the
on a
Wendy's right
plane.
around the corner. I can get a double cheeseburger with double onion and mayo, motherfucker. I hate that Yankee fucking Vince Russo. He's always calling me bro.
El Torito's outfit does kind of look like a Burger King bag when he turns around to the front.
Florida makes me want a double cheeseburger.
Pipes. Yeah.
Oh, that was stiff. Just socked him right in the face. He's stumbling around now. He's probably got some padding in that mask, maybe.
I was going to say, as they say about Mankind, the mask protected him.
Good Lord. El
He's
Torito's really manhandling him.
That's evil.
Yeah, he is. He's beating the hell out of this poor guy.
Said Max mini my ass, motherfucker.
He is really mini. He's a mini.
Yeah, because this guy's a mini, but he's got like 30 pounds on him at least. Oh, the little guy's coming back. No, you can't keep this bull down though.
Whee!
Oh, now we're getting fancy. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's like the Fox and Gerbils got out, right, Glenn?
Yeah.
Oh, now what are we gonna do? Oh, here we go. Oh, that was fun. He might be dead, but that was fun. Nope, he's alive.
This match is getting a lot of time. This is like the longest match on the card.
I don't think so, but pretty close. It's actually like a 9-minute match, which I was surprised by. Usually it's like 4 minutes, but
This is.
oh, look at that. If I was him, I would have not been able to get back in.
No. It's like getting out of the pool in the deep end.
Yeah.
And it's gone from really skillful wrestling to bum biting back to really skillful wrestling again. It's a strange match.
You're right. It is. It really is a strange match. Oh, here we go. Oh,
Oh!
Rey Mysterio. Before Rey Mysterio. Well, no, Rey Mysterio is not this time. I'm sorry. I take it back. Oh, here we go. Oh. I'm not even. I don't even know what to do here. I have no idea. I had no idea what to do here. We got a bull fighting not Max Mooney, Max Mini. There's no way he holds him down. He did.
He did. He got it.
Wow, that's bull.
There's a bunch of bull. The referee was paying little attention to what was going on in the ring, and that's why he had that small count. It's terrible. He beat him with a small package. No, he didn't.
It was just a small roll up.
He didn't look good. Okay, well that's the end of that. And now
Yeah, that's the end of that.
we're gonna go back to the normal review of the show, and we're gonna say goodbye to the mayor. Goodbye, Mayor.
Goodbye.
All right, and we're back. That was fun, wasn't it?
It certainly was. It's nice seeing the mayor as well.
It's always good to see the mayor and his Rocky posters.
Yeah.
Here we go. So the next thing we get is Dude Love and Stone Cold Steve Austin will be forfeiting the tag team championships. They show a video of what happened to Austin at SummerSlam, and then Sergeant Slaughter saying that Austin cannot wrestle in his condition, so he's suspended until he is cleared and will have to give up the tag team championships. They didn't mention the Intercontinental Championship though, which I thought was funny. You figured they would call them both out.
Yeah. There's been no mention of that at all, has there, for ages? No,
it's like we're supposed to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dude Love comes out first. He says things aren't so happy in Dudeville because he has to. Yeah, he said that Dudeville. I didn't make that up. He said because he's got to give up his tag team championships because defending it by himself wouldn't be right because he wouldn't be champion without Steve Austin. And then they bring Austin to the ring, and let's hear from Steve Austin. What do you say?
Oh yes, please. This is so good.
Yeah.
I wish we could have had you come out here in a different.
I want you to blow it out your ass. Vince, you can knock that stupid looking face, that look off your face. I'll come out there and stomp your ass in the ground.
What's that all about?
You sit there and look at damn pictures of me getting dropped on my head. I think everybody's just had enough of it. I don't know who you think you are telling me what I can and can't do. If Steve Austin says he can wrestle, you can damn well believe him, son. And that's in order. You want the little belt? You want it? Yeah, is that a yes or no, jackass? Why don't you drop down and give me 20, you big piece of trash?
This is totally disrespectful on the part of Austin. Totally disrespectful.
I'll knock your damn lights off. Pick it up. And that's in order. This is your only chance. You pick that son of a bitch up, or I'll stomp a mud hole in you and walk it dry. You make me sick. You make me so damn sick I want to throw up all over you. The whole damn World Wrestling Federation makes me sick. Say something if you want to say it, fat ass.
This is out of line. Steve, I'm sure the fans here would love to see you compete tonight, as would I. There's no doubt about it. I'll always say you're the toughest SOB in the WWF, but the WWF's not going to let you risk permanent paralysis to wrestle. I hope that your convalescence goes quickly. We want to see you back in the ring sooner than later, and all I got to say is I hope that you get to be 100% or more than 100% very, very soon. That's from everybody here. That's exactly right.
Let me tell you about a...
I don't know what he said at the end of the microphone, but that sounded like a Jordy to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think so. It shows that, beloved JR. The crowd went bonkers when he got the stunner.
Yeah, it was like a JR had stole every one of their lunch monies and they wanted him to get his ass whooped for no reason. I didn't get it either. My favorite part was dude loves the reaction. He's like, no, what are you doing? That's not love, man. Come on, we wouldn't do that in Dudeville. But now the joke's on us, Glenn, because now we're stuck with just fucking Vince and the King for the rest of this thing.
Yeah.
So Austin really screwed us over, if you ask me. The fans start a big, loud Sergeant Slaughter suck chant, or a Slaughter sucks chant.
Yeah. He's a brave man. He wouldn't take a stunner.
Yeah, he got the fuck out of it.
He's out of the room so quick.
He got the fuck out of there as quick as he could. Yeah, you're not joking. It seemed like it took forever to get JR out of there, too. It was like,
yeah.
Vince got over there. He's asking him where the backboard is. And yeah, so that was something. And then we get a promo basically for each member, each team that's going to be in the fucking tag team elimination match here. So let's listen to it.
What Stone Cold Steve Austin did to Jim Ross, a color commentator, a man of his caliber. Jim Ross is a very special friend of mine. We broke bread together. He doesn't deserve that crap. But these stupid American people seem to condone it. They encourage it. They want to see him beating up helpless commentators. Well, that's a load of crap. And I personally am going to be lobbying to see Stone Cold Steve Austin not only fined, not only suspended, but he should be jailed. That is assault. He should be taken to jail, put behind bars. Not only should they have stripped him of the tag team belts, they should strip him of the Intercontinental belt, give it back to me where it belongs. And Stone Cold Steve Austin, you should be getting the hell out of the World Wrestling Federation. That's what you should do. And that is the bottom line, son.
Ooh, you know, just the other night we were up in New York City partying at the MTV Music Awards with Marilyn Manson and all the other beautiful people. But tonight, at the ground zero, the world will be our mosh pit as we leave the building as the new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions. What a party we're going to have tonight!
Stone Cold, you ain't as dumb as I thought you was, boy. Bowing out of this match. What do you think?
LOD, you boys should have bowed out when you had the chance. Now we're going to kick your asses out.
You're going to be sorry you ever crossed the Mason-Dixon line.
We've been slapped up, and we've been bucketed. You even think about being that bucket in the ring? I'm going to stick it where the sun don't shine. Tell him, Hawk. Well, Godwins, I got a little story for you. You bring that bucket near us, I'm going to take your swiney big butts, stick them both in the bucket, and make it a lifetime latrine. What a ride.
Poor old Michael Cole there. He's going to look at his face and please don't eat the mic. They'll charge me.
Yeah. So, Glenn, I got to ask you, have you ever been bucketed?
No, I've never been bucketed.
Is that a word? I Googled bucketed, but I'm afraid of what the results would be. So I'm not going to. They show Vince and the King after the Bulldog Owen promo, and I thought it was funny that Vince called Austin a jackass, and then the King told him, you better watch out, or he's going to come out here and do the same thing to you that he did to JR.
They'll build me out.
Don't worry, that's coming. So Headbangers come down first, and we heard from everybody that's in this match. Headbangers, the LOD, the Godwins, and the British Bulldog, and Owen Hart. This is a 4-way elimination tag team clusterfuck, right, Glenn?
Ridiculous. Why did it take 9 minutes to get to the bloody Legion of Doom being disqualified for beating the Godwins with the bucket?
They bucketed them, yes.
They bucketed them.
What a devastating thing to be your weapon, a bucket.
The only good.
You tried to find the only good thing and you lost it, didn't you?
I was going to try to find something, but it can't.
Yeah, The only good thing was the ending because it was a surprise.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you go into this thing and you look at the teams and you're like, there's no fucking way the Headbangers are going to win this thing.
That's right. No, you wouldn't have thought so. But then they do. So
yeah. So the Headbangers somehow pull this thing off. And there's not really a lot that you can say about it other than that the Headbangers won. I guess the last couple minutes were good with Bulldog and Owen, and Austin eventually comes down, gives a stunner to Owen Hart, and then that's how the Headbangers end up winning. So really, they win with the help of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I also found it funny where Vince McMahon tried to act like he knew anything about who the fuck Marilyn Manson was. You know, he had no idea. Someone had to tell him and show him pictures before he went out because he had no idea who. Who? I know who Marilyn Monroe is. Yeah, I don't know about is Marilyn Manson her son? I don't understand. Yeah, so that was funny. But yeah, so
didn't even think it was a bloke.
What'd you say?
He probably didn't even think it was a bloke.
No, he probably thought it was a woman. Yeah, he definitely thought it was a woman. Absolutely, he did. And that's not a person I think you would want to admit to hanging out with nowadays, Marilyn Manson. I think he's found to have done some nefarious stuff. So yeah, the Headbangers win, and then after the match, they show JR in the back, and he is talking to the Sergeant Slaughter, and he's kind of saying, you know, this can't go on, and I won't be around here very long. And he even calls out Vince himself. You can tell Vince that if this keeps happening, I won't be working here because I didn't come here to get beat up. And then we get into what is probably the least exciting WWF title match in the month of the year 1997. So let's hear the riveting promo from the Patriot, and we'll hear one from Bret Hart. They also showed like a pre-match vignette about the Patriot where they showed him talking, but only from his chin down so that you couldn't see the rest of his face because he's a masked man, even though we know his name. Yeah. The video promo had no point to there being a promo after it because it's the same thing. He said the exact same thing, but I'll let you. If you're driving, pull the car over because I don't want you to fall asleep, okay?
I'm standing here with the Patriot right now, who's the challenger for the WWF Championship tonight. Now, you already have one win over Bret Hart, but tonight the title's on the line.
Bret Hart, I've beat you once, and in my mind, I can do it again. I don't know what kind of plans you've got, what you've got up your sleeve, whether or not you've got the family stashed away somewhere, but I'll assure you this. Anyone sticks their nose in this match, and I'll flatten it. I did it once, and tonight with the title on the line, I've got to do it again.
You know what this says? This says World Wrestling Federation. It's not the American Federation. It's the World Wrestling Federation. And I might not have any fans here in America anymore, but that's because American wrestling fans don't know what a hero is. Now, the way I look at things, I may be going in this match against a guy that everybody loves, but that's fine because everything I do in this match, I do to the fans themselves. I don't see anybody in particular. I just see all those American wrestling fans that turned their backs on me a long time ago. Well, I'm going to give one shot for every single one of you. And as far as the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt changing hands, I wouldn't bet on it. I'm going to kick the crap out of this guy, and I'm going to enjoy doing it. And that's all I got to say.
What did you think of those promos, Glenn? You give those 2 thumbs up or 2 thumbs down? You couldn't, if you're listening and are not watching, Glenn, it fell off a cliff for Glenn. The thumb went all the way off the cliff. That's how good. Bret's was way better than the Patriots, but they both had the worst endings to promos ever. Like the way the Patriots ended was really bad, and the way Bret's ended was really bad. Like you should never end a wrestling promo with "That's all I got to say."
Yeah. Oh, they should be dragging you away from the mic.
Yeah,
that's the impression you should give. You want to keep on talking. You want to keep on ranting.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to stop now.
Yeah. So Patriot comes out first, and he got a decent pop. Brent made his way down to the ring, and there was at least one lady in the front row I saw cheering for him. But as the match progressed, I thought that the fans started cheering for Bret more.
This was really strange. They started off with heavy USA chants. And it got quieter and quieter and quieter. And then they started cheering for Brent. And it was all very to and fro that they didn't know who to really cheer for. And even on commentary, you had the King, the notorious heel color commentator, building up the Patriot, and Vince burying him.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Especially like Jerry Lawler ran down the Hart family for years and called Helen Hart every name in the book. Why would he ever have anything good to say about Bret Hart? I realize Bret Hart's supposed to be a heel, but to me that just doesn't make any sense. With the way it is. It seemed like every time Lawler tried to say something good about him, Vince was like, "Yeah, buddy," it was like he was like, "No, I can't let you have anything." The Patriot he like knocked Brett down and he tried to do the fire out from the crowd and they booed him. They booed. It was like only at times where Brett would like wave the Canadian flag or disparage America that they would boo him. They would remember, oh yeah, we're not supposed to like this guy because he hates America. But this other guy's so boring that we can't cheer for him, even though he's wearing an American mask.
I know. It's just it's just over 18 minutes. Nearly 19 minutes.
It was a marathon. It felt longer than the 60-minute Iron Man match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12.
It did.
Twice as long.
It was crap.
It was really bad.
And as usual, when you've got a crap match at this time, they have to throw a load more moving bits into it to make it worse. Like the Bulldog comes out.
Yeah.
He starts interfering that the referee totally ignores. The Patriot, his finishing move, the Uncle Slam, he managed to do that on Brett. We're going to get a new champion. No, right under the referee's nose, the Bulldog drags Brett out of the ring.
Right, and that's not a DQ.
No, but the referee, oh, well, that's fair enough. Okay, we'll let that go.
But then it gets better, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. We get Vader for some reason.
I think so. We missed. So remember, Vader was mad at Brett because Brett tried to get in his way of giving. He was going to give the Vader bomb to the Patriot, but he laid the Canadian flag on him. So Vader got down and they started fighting.
Yeah. Oh,
then Vader had a match, I believe, on one of the Friday Night Raws that are on Peacock or on the network that we had to skip to get to this pay-per-view. And so I think that's why Vader is in a feud with Bret Hart now. So that's why. Right. Add to some context, but still.
It just. And then again, the Patriot hits his Patriot missile. Bret kicks out of it.
Well, and when Vader comes down, he starts fighting with Bulldog. Brett gets out of the ring to help Bulldog. Vader punches Brett several times and throws him into the ring steps, and somehow that's not a disqualification either.
No, the referee's not even counting the fact that he's out of the ring.
I thought I was watching ECW.
Yeah.
I just okay. When Bulldog pulls him out of the ring, fine. I can see that because I've seen that not be DQ before. But you can't let some other fucking guy who's not in the match throw them into the ring steps and that be okay. And not the referee's looking at it while it's happening. It's not like he was looking this way.
Yeah. The best part of this match, and again, it was the Patriot being a prat. Why would you try? It's like trying to do a stunner on Steve Austin or an RKO on Randy Orton. Why would you try putting Bret Hart into a sharpshooter?
Right.
And not expect it to go badly wrong? Which it did.
Of course. Because, Glenn, you're armbar Abbott. I'm not going to try to put you in an armbar. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
That's stupid. Yeah, Bret reverses it. Patriot taps out. And thank God this is over.
That's over. Yep.
After the match, Brett beats on him some more. He grabs the American flag. He breaks the stick. He chokes the Patriot with the American flag. Finally, they break it up. Bret Hart decks Pat Patterson, which Pat Patterson must have been like every time. Bret, hit me every time we go out there. Please punch me.
Yeah.
It seems like every time they're pulling Bret off somebody, he punches Pat Patterson.
He does.
And then Brett has like a pre-match, post-match promo that was really awkward and weird. And then Bulldog talked, and it was really awkward and weird.
They've had a herd of zebras, and all the Stooges come out to pull Brett off. So what they do, they drag him out the back and have an interview with Michael Cole. As you would.
They say something like, at least in the UK, they respect good wrestlers because they got that UK only pay-per-view coming up. I think they're trying to push that, and that's why they did that. And then finally, we get into the main event, and this is actually the first ever match between the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Yes, I was amazed to hear that. But then you think about it, what a sort of a start of a legacy that's being created here. There's so many stories come out of this match over the years.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to go off in a million directions. I mean, this is their first match, but they're going to have several classic matches for years to come.
Yeah. And even the one coming up after this year. There's a big storyline to it.
Oh, God. Yeah, Bad Blood is coming up, and that's probably that. I mean, that's one of the greatest matches in wrestling history with one of the greatest angles in wrestling history. All wrapped up into one match.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that one. It's going to be a fucking sight better than this shit we watched for this pay-per-view. But not this match. This match was amazing. They show a pre-match video talking about all the things going on with The Undertaker. You know, Paul Bearer, is his brother still alive? You know, him losing the title to Bret Hart because of Shawn Michaels and everything that happened with Shawn Michaels, you know, laying him out with the chair. And then we get a pre-match promo from Shawn Michaels, and let's listen to what he's really come into his own as a real shithead, Shawn Michaels, right now. So,
based upon the temperament of this capacity crowd, I would suggest that they're very much looking forward to you getting your rear end kicked by the Undertaker.
And you'd like to see that, wouldn't you? Well, guess what? I'm too jacked up to rest. Everybody knows I haven't slept in the last 13 years. I've been in this business. And I got news for you, Undertaker. I don't rest in peace for anybody. And especially you, big man. The phenom of the World Wrestling Federation, the mystique, the legend of The Undertaker is going to come to an end tonight and in your house in Louisville. Why? Because the Heartbreak Kid says so. And there's only one guy that can do it, and it's me. Why? Because I can, for God's sakes.
Ooh.
I don't rest in peace for nobody.
That's not what Sonny said. Anyway, he comes out first, and it takes him a long time to come out. And I guess you could say he gets a mixed reaction. I mean, you can hear ladies screaming, but but most you get a lot of boos too. So it's a real mixed reaction. I think that's a lot of what you're going to get from him in this era.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love this. Both entrances were amazing.
Gave it a big fight feel.
Yeah. No, Undertaker entrance. It was a pay-per-view worthy entrance by the Undertaker. And then you see Shawn Michaels hiding behind the ref.
Yeah. That was really good. I also thought, like, you know, we were talking about Shawn Michaels being a jackass, but like he is being himself out there because you can see the pompous arrogance as he's walking out to the ring. And I don't think that's a shoot. That's all Shawn Michaels right there. That's all him, 1997 Shawn Michaels. And I don't know why, but maybe it was like the thunder rumbling before and the way they had like the camera view like through somebody's lighter as the smoke's going up as the Undertaker comes down. I just thought that this was one of the most badass Undertaker entrances that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is.
And I've watched him at WrestleManias and whatever, but something about him coming out in the Louisville Gardens in 1997 tonight was just, it gave me chills. It literally did. It was fucking awesome.
The way they lit it and everything, the sound and everything was just perfect.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And really, really good. This match, if there was one match I would tell you to watch from this show, it would be this one. I wouldn't waste my time with anything else on it. Just go watch this match. It's amazing. It's all over the place. I mean, they brawled for 7-8 minutes before the bell even rang.
I thought that Shawn Michaels decides he's not going to wrestle you've got to give Sergeant Slaughter some props here, because somebody with such a big chin, he's doing such a great job of playing a chinless wonder.
At least for now, I guess.
Yeah. He says Michaels back to the ring. You know, you're not going to get away with it that easily.
Yeah, as Glenn said, Michaels has got the referee in front of him, and he pushes the referee at the Undertaker. The Undertaker's finally sick of all this and just decks the referee.
Yeah.
And Shawn Michaels at that point, as I would, said, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah.
But Sergeant Slaughter makes him go back up to the ring, and then the Undertaker then picks the referee up and throws him on Shawn Michaels.
That was my This is the Undertaker you want to see. Invincible, showing strength and everything about him. He looked unbeatable.
Yeah, and he's not fucking around. He's not fucking about. He's not doing it. He starts beating Michaels up the ramp. Michaels is up at the in your house set, and he's trying to open the front door, which I thought was hilarious. That was great.
Let me in.
Yeah, and then Undertaker picks him up and slams him, and then he throws him into the shrubbery.
I laughed. I actually did laugh out loud to that, but he threw him in the shrubbery.
And then he picks him up and throws him down the ramp, and Michaels just tumbles all the way.
He did such a great job of that, rolling down the ramp.
It looked legitimately like somebody threw him down a hill. It was so good. It was really good. Yeah, I mean, they were all over. He choked him with a mic cord. Finally, a referee gets out here. I think it's Earl Hebner, and they start the match, even though Michaels is pleading that he wants the Undertaker DQ'd, even though the match hasn't even started yet.
This is how Hebner's been forced out, because I should imagine the referees are running in all directions at this point. He's already killed one.
Yeah, I'm not going up there. Yeah. This is the one where you take a drink every time there's a ref bump, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there is.
These poor referees were abused this evening.
They were, but in a good way. It
wasn't bad. No,
there was no hokey ref bumps.
No, these were all solid ref bumps. There wasn't any, and they were purpose ref bumps too. They weren't accidental. These were, I'm going to punch the ref because I'm mad at the ref. Yeah,
that's it.
You didn't count fast enough. You didn't get out of here fast enough, so I'm going to hit you.
Yeah. I put on here. Shawn Michaels is like he's made of rubber at this point, because he was bouncing around. And the Undertaker was showing him from pillar to post, and he was bouncing around.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a bump fest. I mean, you could tell that maybe I'm sure the Undertaker doesn't like Shawn Michaels, especially in this era. I'm sure he loathed Shawn Michaels, but you can tell that you got to respect what he can do in the ring. And these guys, there wasn't anybody having a better wrestling match than Shawn Michaels in 1997. You can say whatever you want, but that's just a fact.
Yeah.
And the Undertaker is one of the best big men to ever do it. So this was great. Eventually, Michaels tries to get out of the ring, and Undertaker pulls his tights down, and we did confirm that it was a full moon in Louisville that evening, because we saw Shawn Michaels' ass. Shawn got a chair. Undertaker took it from him. He's going to hit Shawn with it, but Earl Hebner was able to grab the chair from him, and then Shawn Michaels drop kicks him, which then leads Hebner to get his face smashed against the chair. But I thought Hebner, pretty tough guy, popped up pretty quick from getting his face smashed.
He did. Of course, because of there's not enough going on. We get Rick Rude come out.
Yeah.
With some brass knucks.
But Rick Rude should have bought a referee with him, because the brass knucks didn't do Michaels any good, because there was no referee to count the pin. So
that's right.
Thank you for nothing, Rick Rude. But China and Hunter do come down, and they have a ref with them who counts, but only the two. So Shawn Michaels lays them out.
This is a bit of good foretelling here. Rick Rude is being absolutely, apart from bringing the brass knuckles down, absolutely no use at all. But then Triple H comes down with China and a referee in tow, so to help Shawn.
Yeah, so Triple H and China are actually helping, not so much Rick Rude. HBK then helps Earl to his feet as China and the Undertaker. China and the Undertaker beat up the Undertaker on the outside a little bit. China and the Hunter did. And then the Undertaker helps Earl up, only to throw him into the turnbuckle. So that's 6 ref bumps if you're counting at home. Yeah. Undertaker goes for a tombstone. Michaels counters it. Michaels goes for a suplex, but the Undertaker counters it. The Taker gets a hold of the brass knucks, hits Michaels with them, and Hunter. He goes for the cover. Michaels barely kicks out, which I was surprised by. I didn't think Michaels was going to kick off from the brass knuck shot. Undertaker gets a choke slam. Finally, Tim White comes down, calls for the bell, and this one's thrown out. It is a double disqualification, but I'm not mad about it. I don't know about you. No, I'm not mad at all.
No, neither am I. This is a perfect way to start a feud.
Yep.
If you've got no titles involved, make it personal.
Yeah.
And this has definitely made it personal.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a really good way to finish this match. And then you're gonna progress it to a next match where obviously these guys brawled all over. We couldn't keep them contained. We gotta put them in this cage with a roof on it. That way they'll be able to stay inside. So it all makes sense.
If I was rating this without knowing what was to come from those two and how much better their other matches would be, I would say that this was a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
I would agree with you. It would be within that 4.5 to 5-star range for me too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it was quite 5, but it was really, really good. It had everything that you'd want a good match to have.
But then there's other matches down the line that you'd have to start giving 6 and 7 stars to.
Yeah, if you wanted to do that, yeah.
But, taking it just on the rating from this time and not knowing what's to come, yeah, definitely 4.5 5 stars for this match.
Yeah.
And it saved the pay-per-view.
It saved the pay-per-view from being a complete 2 thumbs down because it's going to get maybe just 1 now. After the match, Shawn Michaels hits a super kick. They kind of tie Undertaker up in the ropes. They try to hit him with the chair, but Undertaker kicks it into Shawn Michaels' face. Then they all three, Hunter, Shawn, and Taker, brawl for a while. They start emptying out the locker room, which that's the one thing I didn't like from this, and I'm sure you'll agree. I don't want to see DOA and the Los Pericos out there not immediately fighting each other because they're in a feud, so why wouldn't they?
Yes, there is one of these brawls that I watched with Andy, and it was the Midnight Express versus the Rock and Roll Express.
Smoky Mountain, right?
Smoky Mountain, which was a no DQ. And they were fighting everywhere. The locker room emptied out. But there were suddenly people that were mortal enemies fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing to see.
That makes sense. And it's like they didn't have enough people in the locker room. They didn't have to send DOA out there.
You don't have a heel and a face separate locker rooms for no reason.
Right. Yeah. That was the only part about it that I'll gripe about.
It's all right.
They're separating each other. Eventually, Michaels is on the floor. Taker's in the ring. Taker breaks free and does a fucking suicide dive over the top rope, which I don't think I'd ever seen him do that before up until this point.
That was the first time I think he'd done it like that.
And I want to say when I was 14 and saw that, I probably legitimately shit myself.
Yes. Yeah. Big guys like that don't do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't see. Another person I ever saw do shit like that was like Shawn Michaels in the Cruiserweight. To see the Undertaker do it was like foreign. Like, what the fuck was that?
It was like the first time you see him walk the ropes.
Yeah.
Big guys ain't supposed to do that sort of thing.
Right. Like, how did you do that? I mean, I'm sure other guys walk the ropes, but I never fucking saw it. You know?
No.
So yeah, pull out all the stops for this match. I mean, if we were rating right now, this might get my match of the year. Well, other than Bret Hart, Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13, that might be my match of the year. If you ask me right now, those would be my two.
Yeah.
Not knowing what's coming forward, like Glenn said before.
That's right.
They go off the air with Taker looking exhausted in the ring and them showing replays of that amazing.
You look at his face though, knowing him as well as we do now. he had that look on his face. Says, "I enjoyed that."
Yeah, like I know that was good shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it one thumb down because it was the main event didn't save it enough for me, Glenn. I'm still giving it one thumb down.
Oh, I'm not. I'm gonna give it one thumb up.
Okay.
So we'll end it neutral.
There we go. I mean, we don't do that very often, so it's good.
No.
The main event just didn't do it. The rest of it was so shit, and even the only other one good thing about it was so a cringe that you couldn't enjoy it. So it's that wasn't enough for me.
The Goldust Pillman match was good enough. Apart from the bloody triple threat, there was not that much else that was really egregious. Some of it went on for too long.
And it's unfair to say anything about the light heavyweight match because we don't know where it would have went had Putski not dislocated his knee. So
yeah.
Not that I think it would have went great because I've seen those two wrestle before.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it would have ended up with disqualification or something anyway. So, but yeah, I think you giving it a thumbs down, me giving it a thumbs up, having it as a neutral is a fair result for it.
I think that is fair. That is fair. Yeah. So that's it. That is our review for In Your House Ground Zero. We'll be back next week. We will be reviewing a Raw because Raw will continue finally. We'll have 2 weeks of Raw, and then we'll have a special guest, Mr. Dan Griffin from the UTT Unbooking the Territory podcast. Glenn's probably not going to plug now because I plugged him twice already. He's going to be joining us to review that show. That'll be the first week of February. What are you going to say, Glenn?
I was about to say I'm not going to be doing any plugs at the moment because of obviously last week people had things on and I've had a lot of podcasts come through late. So I'm going to be listening to them all and I will be plugging what I need to plug on the Sid Show.
There you go. So we'll switch it up. No plugs on this show, and you get the plugs on Sid's show next week. But we will tell you to check out Sportswire Radio and give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on all the social medias that you have. It's 2020 on Instagram and Threads, and it's 2017, I think, on whatever they call that other gimmick now. And make sure you follow the other third member of our podcast team. You saw him on the show. He's the mayor of Canton. Follow him on Twitter. He does a meal with the mayor every week. Where he tries a different food. And usually he's going to be a hungry man and he's going to be really happy with whatever fast food he got. So if a certain fast food place that he goes to fucks up his food, they're really going to have to fuck it up for him to give it a bad review, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so.
Because after you only eat chicken and rice 6 days a week, when you have fast food the 1 day a week, you're probably really going to love it. So, yeah, make sure you check out all that stuff. And check out all of the projects. Make sure the Life and Times of Cycle Sid, which is on YouTube, you check that out. And make sure you check out, we got a Mayor of Superstars episode out this week, which was a lot of fun.
It was.
I said some very unfortunate things with the word brother in it that involved Thrush. So give that a listen. That's it. That's all. Now we just got to have Glenn say goodbye.
Goodbye.